Yo. Yo. What's up, guys? What are we looking at? We're looking at Veilguard. I might. No, it's not an I might. I will. I'm gonna stream Veilguard. But that doesn't mean that this stream, Yoda's Hut, still can't be just chatting. What's going on, Therese Earthling? Montreal official? Canny. Blue Eagle Gamer? Already at 1.1k likes on the clock? Not bad. Have you guys liked the video yet on the play button? Wow, that chat is ginormous on the clock. Hold on. There we go. Yo, 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 VGC here for the distraction from reality. I did hit the like. Right on. Appreciate it. A distraction is what we all need, except I'm not gonna be distracted. I'm gonna have the results sitting here on Google, just displaying live updates. The link sends you to a gray screen. Let me check. Had a chance to check out Insurgency Rising yet? Admittedly, I've fallen behind the latest issue. Not yet. A lot of things are happening. After this week, we can kind of get back into the swing of things. Let's see. Montreal, instead of... I'll send you a message. I still have to work out the kinks because I just moved the website over. Try the link I just sent you. There's only 2 issues out, right? For Insurgency Rising? I have about a 60% chance. You have about 60% chance, or there is a 60% chance we'll see Hondo and Skeleton Crew. 3rd just dropped, I believe. Okay, I might just read them live. We'll see. Okay, 1 second. The chat. Chat's pretty large. My iOS browser doesn't support it. Your iOS browser, can you use another browser? I think Safari should be able to. That's strange. Let's put the chat over here. What's good, Steward of Ostagar? The plan is to stream Veilguard, yes. But someone wants to speak to me about lore really quickly, so I'm trying to get them in. If it's possible. We might have to reschedule Montreal and try to figure out another way. Unless you can use a different browser. Actually, let's do this. We're doing things live. We're making changes. We're making... Then I can remove that. Perf. Steward of Ostagar. What's your favorite Dragon Age? Now, I might rename the stream to spending 6 hours in character creation. We'll see. That's usually how these first streams go, right? Definitely Origins. Origins is the one that I actually played. Origins is the one because I haven't played. I'm not like a huge, or rather, I haven't played Origins like all my life. Like I played Origins. Origins is the one with like the. Hold on. The one that I really like. There's a character that you don't get to romance, but she's got a hood. She's got red hair. She's like your assassin or something. Forget her name. Jeez. I always play human or elf or always fighter or wizard. So I'm actually kind of like, even as much as Choco has talked about this game, I'm actually kind of flying blind here because I haven't really read up on anything or looked at videos really. I just kind of want to go in and like experience it with you guys and see what we can do. All right. Montreal, are you there?
Hello?
Hello. Can you
What's
hear me?
up? Yes. Yes, sir.
You don't have to say yes, sir.
Okay.
How's it going?
Great. How are you?
Good. Waiting anxiously
Okay.
for the results of our very, very tenuous election day.
Oh, yeah. I just voted today. Yeah.
Nice. Always love it when someone votes.
Yep, yep, yep.
You gotta make your voice heard, man. Lots of people died for your right to do that.
Oh, especially me, because of reasons. Yeah. Um. But yeah.
Oh,
So
Liliana. Nice. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Liliana is the one I was talking about, Steward. So, Montrell, what are we talking about
yes.
here?
So I have created over the past little while. I've created a little bit of a fan fiction. In like the actual writing, I'm not too far, but like the stuff I wanted to talk about lore wise was the a little bit further ahead. But so do you? I just want to see if it's if I certain things I want to implement, can I implement them? If that makes sense, if they're okay to implement. But is it okay if I just tell you the general synopsis of how the story goes real quick so we can?
Sure, you can. I mean, so one kind of blanket statement I will tell you is that
Mhm.
unless you are going hard continuity, you really can just make up anything you want.
Okay, okay. I was curious because one thing that confuses me, and I've watched the Clone Wars and I've watched the movies, and um the one thing that confuses me, and even from people who've told me who won't explain it, and from videos, is I don't understand how the Force works. Because
Right.
you'll have sometimes where someone can lift like a whole building or hold a Star Destroyer. Not like that was in the Clone Wars, like they held it in place for a little bit, two
Mm-hmm.
people. And then you have other times where like somebody like can't do nothing. Like they can't do anything or whatever. And I don't know, and it confuses me because I'm like, this person did this before. Why don't they just do this now or whatever? And that sort of thing. In fights, I've heard that it's actually difficult to use the force, so that might be part of it. Uh,
Yeah. So
yeah.
So the reason I say that is because a lot of people write fan fictions, and whenever they ask me about the lore, I always say if you're writing fan fiction, you really don't need to care about like canon or legends in that regard. I mean, it's your fiction, so like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can make up
but
whatever you
I
want.
wanted consistency. Yeah.
Right, right. So just like when I'm writing I'm currently writing the Acolyte prequel with Chimera and Vernestra.
Okay.
And so you have to just kind of decide for yourself. Are you going hard continuity, or are you just going to go loosey goosey and just do an alternate universe, right?
Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
For the Force, whenever it
Let's
comes
see.
to like
Oh,
using
sorry.
the Force in mid combat or under stressful situations, that's largely because
Hmm.
they are constantly shielding themselves. So
From the opponent. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
they're already using the Force. And so like during a fight, if you kind of let down your guard, you can get force pushed, and that's why like whenever they like a Jedi and a Sith start to fight, they don't just like start hammering them with like force blasts and stuff, right? Because they're
Okay.
they're
Okay.
shielding themselves, including from mental attacks as well, and that's why you don't have people turning off other opponents' lightsabers as well, because that shield is constantly up.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. So, and that's why someone like Vader kind of toys with his victims because he's strong enough just to pass through a lot of people's shields.
Um, name a
Because he
specific
does that a lot.
name a specific person, because whenever he's toying with someone, it's usually someone that's um explicitly
It's like
weaker,
Survivor.
yes, or like a civilian or like a non-force user.
I mean Jedi Survivor. Like a couple people he'll just like you'll defeat him, but then he'll just kind of like pause you in place, and then I don't know if you've played it or
Yeah.
anything. Okay, okay, so you know what I mean.
So essentially, I mean, the way he's portrayed in the video game is for video game purposes.
Okay, okay, that's a video game. That's not okay, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, whenever he fights someone that is competent in the Force,
Hmm.
it's usually a tough fight. But
Okay,
at
okay,
the same time, with the dark side, he can access some ridiculous feats of power that can overwhelm someone who is not prepared for it, right? So
Okay.
the biggest example I can think of is Nihilus. A lot of people say that Nihilus is like a beast. He can drain whole planets with his drain power. But
Okay, wait. 1 second.
Okay.
I've heard two different things about Nihilus. I've heard that he was a mid duelist and had mid abilities in the Force, and I've heard that he was an excellent duelist and he was talented in the Force. And I've also heard that when he absorbed Force energy, it just went to a void. And I've also heard that when he absorbed Force energy, he actually was able to use the Force energy. That's the thing I'm confused about with him.
So Nihilus is literally, for all intents and purposes, this has no meaning in canon, but in Legends, he is known as a wound in the Force.
Yes, I know about the wound thing. From my understanding, maybe the best middle ground, he gains when he takes your force and your life force away. He gains that power, but it's always diminishing. That's why he's always hungry.
Yeah, so rather than diminishing, it's always in use. Like picture a car engine that every minute it uses 1 gallon of gas. And
okay.
And you can only fill it up at like 1.5 gallons per minute, right? And so when he is siphoning someone's force energy, if he
doesn't always get all of it.
Yeah, if he wants to use that energy, he will use it, but the hunger will overtake him, right? So it's kind of like the double-edged sword of the being a wound in the Force. He can siphon it. That energy goes into the wound because it hungers, but if he uses it, it doesn't feed the hunger. So
actually, that's actually funny because Darth Nihilus. I like that you mentioned Darth Nihilus because literally he's gonna be a part of my story. He's like a really late part though. Like I'm gonna give her like a couple of training arcs before we go touch anything over there because I feel like that's a little. But it's not Darth Nihilus exclusively. So basically, the way I'm doing it is that she's gonna eventually. This is gonna be way later, way past where she is. She's gonna find a Sith, and the Sith is gonna be obsessed with the Old Republic, and the Sith is gonna actually find. Before he finds it, the Sith is gonna figure out a way to wear the mask of Darth Nihilus and potentially get the abilities. But you remember that hunger that Darth Nihilus had? He wants the Darth Nihilus abilities, but he doesn't want the hunger. So it's like a whole thing I have because I want the protagonist and antagonist to be like the opposite in the way they do stuff. So can I just explain the story first, the beginning of the story first before because.
Yeah, really quick. Let me just interject with that point itself. Someone who has Nihilus's mask would not then assume being a wound in the Force.
Yeah, I know he would take him over, but I'm saying that's why they're not putting on the mask right now. They're figuring out a lot of the plot's going to be them going through ancient Jedi abilities and ancient Sith abilities and trying to figure out a way for him to take over the mask and take over the spirit within, but keep the wound. It's gonna fail. Like I'm making it to where it's gonna fail, but it's not gonna fail straight up fail. It's gonna
Well, you wouldn't be able to.
It's gonna do a few things. What do you mean?
So, if Nihilus were to take over via the mask, it would be Nihilus sans the wound in the Force, because Nihilus was a person before the mass shadow generator took away his form, right? So
we don't know who he was, but he was somebody.
So the mask alone does not. So when a Sith tethers their spirit to an object, it's not tethering their whole state of like their bodily state, right? Okay. So just like when Anakin joined the Living Force, he wasn't scarred, he wasn't missing his limbs, right? So when Nihilus tethers to an object and he takes over someone's body, They don't then assume a wound in the Force that was a thing that happened to him. They only take over, or they only assume just who he is.
I assumed from what I've watched that the way it worked is since he was like overpowered by that one chick, I forget her name. But she became a one too. She defeated him, and they locked his spirit. His spirit was still in the mask and the cloak,
Yeah,
so they locked
Mitra.
it in Korriban. Yes, and the only thing that confused me is, and I don't know, this could be not true. In the video that I watched, they also said that that mask and that cloak, whoever put that mask on, he would take over their body, and that could give people who didn't have force abilities. Of course, he'd be the one using them, but it'd be able to give people force abilities. What I assumed is he was still a wound in the force, even though he's weak. And if someone get the mask, they'll get the force abilities, and then start the cycle back up again of him doing what he did before.
Yeah, no, that's not how it would work. The wound,
So
him being a wound in the Force and losing his physical body was something done to him. So it's not inherently a part of Nihilus himself.
Okay.
They would get his command of the Force. They would also get his mental state.
Okay. Because my idea was, I'm just gonna tell you the full idea. My full idea was for this person to like go through all these records and try to find an ability, and then they combine. I was gonna make up an ability too. They combine an ability to try to. Yeah, I can still do it. Yeah, but they combine when he puts the mask on. The idea was he had the whole planet he was in. He was gonna consume all the life force from that planet. Of course, he wouldn't be able to because he was too weak. It was gonna be like a whole thing. But the idea was when he put the mask on, he was going to take over the spirit of Darth Nihilus. But it wasn't going to work like that. What was going to happen is using the light side ability that he found, he would counteract Nihilus, but they would counteract each other. And when he puts that mask on, both of their soul, it's hard to explain because I'm trying to say both of their souls kind of like die. And then it just creates a new individual being. Like both of their souls create a new individual being with the memories of both of them.
Okay.
So this being has both of their traits and both of their ability and both of their like everything, but it has memories, all the memories of both of them, and it's gonna start a new arc. I just felt like that would be cool for like a story.
Well, I mean,
and I can talk about Darth Bane a lot because I like Darth Bane, and Darth Revan's a little overrated.
I mean, in certain circles, he definitely is. But to the people who actually read his book and played KOTOR, they know who he really is. But like, there's certain people that, you know how they are. Like they latch onto the bandwagon and say, oh, so Darth Revan's like really, really cool. So to be a Star Wars fan, I need to be a fan of Revan. So they just kind of.
It's just every time I see a video where like people are saying like X against who, I always hear Darth Revan would win this. I'm like, bro, what? Darth Revan is not the end all be all, bro. He can't be like that. Like I understand.
He is.
I know he's very powerful, but like he's not gonna defeat like Palpatine low difficulty. Come on.
Yeah, that would actually be a really cool fight. But like Revan, one thing that needs to be considered, and I don't know if this like carries forward after his mind wipe, but he was a prodigy when he was training up as a Jedi.
He was smart, but he wasn't powerful in the Force. That's the thing I know. He's a good strategist. He wasn't powerful in the like. He was good in the Force, but he wasn't like overtly good. Yeah, you get what I mean.
Most of his power came from the dark side, but that's how it all goes down. Because
yeah. Because he
consumes you.
Yeah. Oh, that was one thing I was gonna ask too. Is a whole thing about my story. So I'm gonna just like tell you the basic outline of the first part of the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay? Okay. So this girl, she's gonna be. The story's gonna start off with her Padawan and some clones searching a planet, and this is 2 years into the war because I believe the Clone Wars was 4 years. 2 years into the War of the Wars, and she's gonna be finding her master because her prior master, I should say, has turned to the dark side and is with the separatists under Count Dooku. She finds the master. She fights him. She gets mad during the fight and starts to actually before this the master kills a few clones. I forgot to say that. She finds the master. They fight for a little while. She ends up starting to use the dark side to fight him. She gets a little bit of a hand, but she still is losing the fight, like actively losing. And
Okay.
she ends up ending the fight, not only using the dark side, but to win the fight, she ends up using Tarkata to win. And what would happen after that is like the basic stuff. Like the council would find out, be like, "That's two strikes, buddy. This is not baseball, bro. You're out." And they'd be like, "We sense the dark side in you. We know you guys. You use Tarkata because her Padawan would see it, and then and report it, and then the council would be like, no." They take the lightsaber, and from what I've been told, the council wouldn't care enough to let her choose the planet she got dumped on, so she just kind of gets dumped on a planet. I haven't chose what planet that would be, but she just gets dumped on like some planet. But yeah, and then after that, we're gonna skip like 2 years because this is it. Clone Wars is 4 years, 2 years. That'd be around the time when the Clone Wars is ending. We get to see about how her life is now. She does not have a lightsaber, and um, she ends up starting to feel the effects of the Order 66 and feels her Padawan's death and feels all that stuff, and that kind of kicks off the story. And my story, a lot of the time, most of the story, a good amount of the story, she's not going to have a lightsaber. I'm going to focus on the Force and her using other weapons and finding weapons in her environment more, because I feel like having a lightsaber, I want her to that be a moment. You're gonna get the first few chapters of her having a lightsaber and fighting, but then you're just not gonna have it for a while after that. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that'd be a cool dynamic. I don't know.
Yeah. So the premise of your story, I mean, I'll just say straight away, fits a lot more in Legends continuity than anything.
Yeah.
In canon, we don't really have very
A Darth
many
Knight.
examples of the Jedi Council ruling harshly when it comes to like mistakes or the use of the dark side.
Okay,
Of
I thought
course,
the double would have been like a solid no for the council. Like you use two bad things. Like
so
maybe not.
there's a lot of instances, including in the High Republic, where someone kind of taps into the dark side, either knowingly or accidentally, and they really don't like fault them for it, right? Because the Jedi Council, in at least in canon continuity, are very very hyper aware of the temptation. Like it's always there, and
Okay.
you don't really choose the light side, and then that's it. You go on with the rest of your life scot free. So in Legends, it's hard to say. It's hard to say how the Jedi Council historically treats that, but they do have a lot more. They do have a lot more examples of exiling people, right? So they have like
Okay.
Mitra Surik that they exiled, and they have Revan that they kind of quote unquote excommunicated when he went into the war with the Revanchists. So,
Yeah.
but in canon, we have someone like Prosit Dibs who actually just attacked Mace Windu, and they were like, "This was kind of a lapse in judgment. We'll put you in the library."
Okay.
With Ahsoka, they were just like, "We'll deal with this ourselves. In the meantime, you'll be temporarily expelled." But then the Republic took over the investigation and like kind of usurped their investigative powers or their jurisdiction. So, I mean, if we think about canon, we have like 25,000 years of history, and in that 25,000 years, they've only lost 20 people to the dark side, like officially.
Okay, okay. So
So,
like,
yeah.
what if I like do? There's two things I can do to make this more, I guess, more effective. Is I can do one. I can say that she's been using the dark side. This is just one moment she used it. She's been using it, and when the council, we could do either one or two ways. We can either say when she goes up to the council for the thing she just did, they either sense that she's been using it consistently, or we can say she's already had a record of having it, or two, we can say that she this is the first time she's done both of those, but she's showing no remorse to them and feels like she did what was necessary, and that's what makes her get outside. One of those two.
So what is the crux of her character? Do you want her to actually fall?
So my idea is and I maybe this really won't work, but my idea is to have someone who's because we've had a lot of light side like not a lot, but like we've been getting a decent amount of gray Jedi and whatnot. The idea of her character, and it's hard to expand her character without other people, but the idea is she is going to be someone in fights primarily. She has a lot of passion and anger in her life and whatnot. So she's going to be someone she's not going to be a Jedi eventually, but she's going to be someone who uses the dark side primarily to fight. And for most of her Force usage, she used the dark side primarily, but she's going for like more morally good goals. She's more on the passion and a little bit anger of the side of the dark side, less of the direct hatred of the dark side. And maybe you could tell me what you think about it.
I mean, I'm not really going to.
Does that sound like that would work though? Because I know there's an issue with the dark side. If you go too deep, you can like have some stuff happen. So I don't know if that would check out.
The dark side will always corrupt you, right?
Okay,
It's gonna take an intervention as large as Luke, or Rey with Ben and Anakin to kind of turn the tide in the favor of the light. And so there's no
way to like for someone to use it relatively consistently and try to like keep themselves centered. They need to have an external force to keep them centered, or is it just like a no?
They would have to pull them out completely. Like there's no way to center you. Like you realize the anathema of that phrase. Like to use the dark side and keep yourself centered. Like it's
what
like
I mean is because from my understanding of the dark side, and maybe this from what you're saying right now is probably a false understanding of the dark side. I thought the dark side was motivated from like most things that make you motivated to do anything is basically what the dark side is. Any passion, any love, any what do you call it?
Emotion.
Any passion, any love, any emotion. So I would imagine if she uses her passion for the future she wants to create and certain things she wants to do, and her anger about what's happened in the past, and her anger about how she doesn't like the council and how she wants to use that, like someone in real life would use the anger they feel about whatever background they're from, or whoever's like held them back in society to make a better future. They use that emotion for the future. That's the idea of her using the dark side for the future, because the idea of the dark side is, from my understanding, it's not inherently evil. It's more leading you to evil.
So here's where we get into the weeds. Essentially what you're trying to
she's not going to only use the dark side. Like she uses the light side too. She just uses the dark side more often than the light side.
What you're essentially describing is the road to hell is paved with good intentions. But it is not, unless you want to just go completely.
She has morals. Like it's not completely a moralist. I'm saying like it's more Um,
Well, hear me out. Hear me
it's
out.
more using those productively. It's like using your the negative things that you feel or the negative things to as a positive outlet. That's the idea.
So that's not possible with the Force.
Okay,
um,
okay, okay.
so that's
I'm good.
why
I'm glad you tell me. Okay.
that's why I say the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? Because Anakin had good intentions, but he also, with those intentions, made all the wrong decisions. Um,
But the thing about Anakin is I feel like
well, let me
never
finish.
continue,
Let me
continue. Yeah,
finish.
yeah, finish. Yeah.
Your understanding of the Force when it comes to it not being inherently evil is that the Force itself makes no distinctions. The Force is the Force. It is life, death, and rebirth. And
Yes.
that's the eternal flow. That's how Anakin describes it in Shadow of the Sith. You know, it's a river, it's a current, and those who seek to control it are dark side. And
Mhm.
they seek to dam up the river, they seek to control the current, and that's not sustainable. So what ends up happening is that when you try to control the uncontrollable,
Mhm.
that's when you start to you're thrown out of balance, and you start to get corrupted, and that dark side, that death and decay,
Mhm.
that is going to feed on you endlessly. So even if she's using her more baser and primal emotions to feed into her righteous intentions and purpose, it's essentially going to consume her, and the more and more she does it, her emotions will no longer be controllable.
Okay, okay. That makes sense. Okay, because do you see what I was trying to do though? Like thematically, what I was trying to do
Yeah, absolutely. I
Okay,
mean,
okay. I'm making sure. Okay,
a lot of
yeah.
stories start out with someone who basically just like, why can't we, why can't we free all these slaves, right? And but
Mhm.
in so doing, you're gonna murder a whole bunch of people like in cold blood to free those slaves. So it's always a balancing
Yeah.
act, and so that's
Yeah, she
why.
wouldn't do anything crazy. Like the only thing. Oh, sorry for interrupting. I keep interrupting.
Well, I was just gonna say that's
Yeah.
why when George Lucas says, when it comes to using the Force, balance is the light, is because you're not trying to control it, right? You know,
Mhm.
it's your ally, as Yoda says. Shout out to
Okay,
Cal and
okay,
Stephanie in the chat. Hello.
okay.
But yeah, if you
Then I,
continue, if
okay.
your character continues to use the Force, they will be consumed by it, and they will no longer be able to distinguish between right and wrong.
Okay. Well, then the other thing I would say too is, and again, maybe I'm deciphering this wrong. Is the also the thing that gave me this idea was you've watched Ahsoka?
Yeah.
Is when Ahsoka's getting like trained by Anakin, he's also saying the things like saying that balance in the Force is both sides from my understanding, or maybe he's just not, and I'm just not getting that right. When she's had like find passion and peace, and you know what I mean, like find them both. Because do you see what I'm trying to say there? But I see what you mean though. Like the dark side is
So,
inherently gonna like attract you and then pull you, and then you're just in too deep. Like
well, that's the constant temptation, right? Because
okay.
a good example is Mace Windu, Vopad.
Hmm.
A lot of people misunderstand and say that he uses both the light and the dark, but that's not the case.
Well,
Vop
he just loops you. He just loops you. He hits you back with your own strength.
that's one part of Vopad. The other part of Vopad is that he channels his aggression, passion, and anger into the art and into the style, so much so that it is dangerous, but he never lets it control him. And that's what Ahsoka means by finding your passion in your peace.
Mhm.
emotion isn't inherently dark side.
Yes.
What makes emotion dark side is that it controls you. So
Okay. Okay.
a Jedi can be angry that someone died, but if that anger causes them to lash out and start killing people, then that's a dark side.
Okay.
A Jedi can be sad that a mission failed, but if that sadness drives them to go on a murder spree, then it's controlling them. So
Okay.
when
I
when
assume. Okay.
when Depa
Yeah.
Balaba explains to Kanan that we can have these emotions, you're not supposed to suppress them. But whenever they say be mindful of your emotions, be mindful of your thoughts, is to be aware of these emotions and to embrace them, but to not let them control you. And that's the basis of the non-attachment tenet, right? Because
Mhm.
I mean, it's kind of fallacious of the Jedi Order to just say non-attachment, but most of the Jedi Masters and the teachers that we learn about in the High Republic and in canon, they talk about it just being a warning about detachment, because Master and Apprentice is already an attachment.
Yes.
But a good example of a Jedi's ability to manage that attachment is Ahsoka. So during the Clone Wars, when Ahsoka is falsely accused, and the Jedi Masters were like, "This was your great trial," she left the Order. But leaving the Order was a very Jedi thing for her to do, because she let go of her attachment to it.
Yes.
In the book Midnight Horizon, Yoda has a Padawan who fell in love and wants to experience that love. So he tells
Mhm.
Yoda, I need to leave. I want to experience this stuff. And so Yoda accepts that and lets them go. And so they go off and live their life. They fall in love and they experience normal living, and then they find another Force user that's a kid, and they bring him back to the Jedi Order. And Yoda goes, "Welcome back. I knew you'd be back, but you left as a Padawan, and now you're back as a knight because that was your trial, right?" So, a mastery of your emotion, a mastery of attachment, and being able to let go and not be so attached that you're possessed, that you become obsessed and possessed by that attachment, are the guiding principles of staying on the light.
Okay. Okay.
So your character, who routinely dips into the dark side for worthy ends and for a righteous cause,
Well,
they will start
okay.
off that way, but they won't be able to make that distinction the more and more she dips.
Okay. I was curious about one thing though. So the dark side is what you do with the force, not how you channel the force.
The dark side is where, so I always go back to Empire Strikes Back. How do I know
Hmm.
the good from the bad? Yoda says, when you are calm, at peace, passive. Whatever is driving your actions is what determines what the dark side is.
Okay. So
So
if
you
I
can
have it to where, okay, sorry, sorry.
so let's take for example Luke pacifying the Gamorreans in Return of the Jedi. That can be
Hmm.
viewed and interpreted as a light side action because he had no interest in ending their life. Um, but Vader, force choking, I forget, is it Piet or Nita from another Star Destroyer? he he
Oh,
wanted
the guy that was messing with him.
he force chokes him through the screen. That would be
Yeah,
considered
yeah, yeah.
a dark side emotion. Like
Okay.
there are Jedi out there who fight and who fight their opponents, constantly thinking about how to not kill them and how they can just stop the violence, right? So there's like a Padawan in Into the Dark where they're being attacked by marauders, and he's like, okay, they forced me to ignite my lightsaber. How do I get out of this non-lethally? And he's like weighing the consequences of his actions. He's weighing the consequences of either killing them or removing their hand. And so he lands on removing their hand as a necessary step to end the conflict and end the violence, in exchange for just him losing his hand. And so that's kind of like the balancing act that those in the light often like consider whenever they move to violence or move to fight.
Okay, okay. So would it be considered dark side for someone to, when the way they use the Force? So
Yeah.
the way they use the Force is through their motivations to do things. Like that's the thing that gets them to use the Force, is their like passion or anger at something. Is that inherently the dark side? Them pushing, them using. That's the way they channel the Forces through that, and use the Forces through that, or is there not, or what?
It's their motivation and their their outcomes,
Hmm.
the outcomes that they're aiming for. Like someone can be motivated to, like my earlier example, someone can be motivated to free the slave that they see across the street. But what's the outcome? Did you just murder their handler and set them free, or did you try to find a way to free the slave through legal means?
Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm like making sure I got everything you said correct in like
It's all good.
thinking about what I think about it. Like I'm kind of slow when it comes to that. Um, so in this aspect with her is what I mean is, how do I say this? Is the
Let me see.
issue
Let me see if I can distill it down a little further for you, for your character.
because the give me like let me explain one thing real quick. Is this the reason I want her in the dark side? And it's because I feel like the inherent issue with the light side, and it was also an issue with the Jedi, is that they don't do anything. Like they have no the thing about the Sith that's so interesting is they have all the negative things, the betrayal, the thirst for power that will never truly be, fulfilled, and everything like that. They have the anger, the hatred, the resentment. They have all the negative things, but they also have the one positive thing that I've noticed that the light side doesn't have is they have like a reason to. They have their entire thing is the whole desire to do more, to do. This is more than this is more than what I want. Like I want more than this. Like it feels like the dark side has more of that than the light side does. It feels like the light side is more of like a stagnant than anything. Of course, the light side will fight. I'm not saying that, but I feel like inherently the dark side has more of that oomph to get stuff done and get stuff like we want more than what we have now. And we want. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say?
So the light side will always feel stagnant because it's for life, right? But
Hmm.
that is the largest part of the cycle of the Force.
Okay. Okay.
When it comes to the dark side, this is what I was going to try to say. Your character's motivations will start righteous. It'll start with having good
Yes.
intentions. But
This
when
will
she
get terrible.
but when she dips into the dark side to achieve whatever goals that she sets forth, it'll result in her more and more letting go of humanity. And
Okay.
the more and more she dips into the dark side, the further and further she will go to achieve those goals. And before she knows it, I mean, just to provide an extreme, you start off wanting to protect children from something.
Yeah.
And you start killing people to protect them. And that seems like a little problematic. You know, you're murdering people, but you're protecting kids. Then, as the dark side consumes you and corrupts you, you find a building that is responsible for trafficking children. So the dark side then compels you, or makes it easier for you to decide, maybe I should just blow up the whole building. So that happens. And then that you start to get desensitized to the actions you're taking for the goal you're trying to reach. And when you get to the deepest depths of the dark side, you start to lose sight of what motivated you in the beginning to begin with.
Okay. That makes sense. That's a fair point. Okay. I'll have to rethink what I'll do then in that aspect.
Well, I asked you,
went
did
to-
you want her, how's it going, mini queso? Queso.
Queso is crazy.
Um,
You asked me what? Sorry.
I asked you if your goal for your character was to have her fall to the dark side, completely, because
No.
then that would inform how she does it, right? Because if the council finds out she's been using it, they would raise concern with her, and they would try to probably send her to a master who has experience dealing with the dark side. But if you wanted her to fall anyway, then her time with that Jedi Master would be fruitless. She would go, she would study with them for a while, and she would have large disagreements with the Master. Eventually, things come to a head, and she ends up like murdering that Master, and so that like signals her like full fall. Right.
Okay.
All the while she's telling this master who's trying to help her manage the dark side and her inner darkness that she has good intentions, and he understands that, but you can't just do whatever you want. You know, you
Obviously. Yeah.
you kind of have to judge collateral damage and like, you know, the larger
Yeah.
consequences. And so I feel like that's a good path for her to.
She's not gonna fall, by the way. Like I'm not trying to make her fall at all.
Oh, well, I mean, I think that's a good path for her to fall initially. That leads into a redemption. You know,
Okay,
she
okay.
she cares so much about the cause and her righteous intentions. She cares so much about saving all of the slaves, that she uses the dark side to level an entire building. And she goes to the Jedi Council, and they're concerned about her brush with the dark side, and said, go speak to this master. He has they have a lot of experience with the dark side, and they could maybe provide some counsel you need. So she does that. And at first it helps, but then the master like prevents her from going off and saving someone that she loves or something. Like kind of
We can do
like
a scene
Luke going
outside.
to Bespin, and everyone's like,
Uh-huh.
don't leave, you have to finish your training. So she disagrees with this heavily and ends up kind of like either hurting or murdering the master. And
Okay.
that's essentially, and then she goes on the run. So essentially, the catalyst for her fall is this very event, and she goes on the run to save her loved one. But then at the end of that, she's there, and they are now pursuing her. Right?
Okay.
And so then you'd have to think about what the catalyst is to bring her back to the fold.
Okay. Oh, she.
It's kind of like
okay.
it's kind of like Hawkeye with Black Widow. It's like, you chose not to kill me, right? So like there's got to be something that happens where they do catch up to her, and they choose not to, and they choose to bring her back, like try to compel her to choose the light again.
Okay. So I'd say we can do a combination with that, right? We can make it to where the first strike is what I was talking about before, the Tarkata and the dark side. They send her to the new master, right? And you remember you did say like a scenario where like some people need saving. Like some people need saving on this planet, but the orders are to. That sounds like a Anakin move right there, honestly.
I mean,
The
that's
the
usually what it
orders
comes
are
down to.
the orders are to leave the planet because they don't have enough resources to fight this or whatnot. But she knows that the kids are starving, or the kids, you know what I mean. The droids are whatever,
Well, that's a
and
little.
her
That's a
mess.
little. It's
Not
a little
literally that. I'm
contrived,
saying
but
contrived, but I'm saying like example's sake. Example's sake.
yeah.
Example's sake.
Uh,
Yeah.
the example that I would provide is that somebody needs saving, but
Yes. Somebody needs help. Yeah.
they're out of the jurisdiction of the Republic, or it's in enemy territory, and they don't have any way of going in
The Federation is
without
gonna be
like
mad.
they don't have a way of going in without sparking like political
Yeah.
or
Bro, the
geopolitical
Federation
like
was.
conflict,
Yeah. Yeah.
which
I'll
was
say the
what
Fer-
which is what
yeah.
Revan did basically, because the Jedi Council, their entire argument wasn't that they wouldn't help with the Mandalorian uprising. They just said, we just got out of a war, we don't have the people. So
Okay. Okay.
that's why Revan had to raise his own army.
Okay. So a scenario where she needs to save somebody, but they're not in jurisdiction to do it, or something like that, and her master is actively trying to get her back. My idea. This is where the ideas I feel like will trail off. You tell me what you think about this, and I'll let's see. Um, you said to where there's someone to save, and politically they can't do it because like the Federation, or it's not their jurisdiction, and for her to go and save this person, she actively hurts her severely, moderately to severely hurts her master, and uh ends up and ends up failing. Because
Yeah, that's good too.
I think the reason Anakin got away for a while was because he succeeded a lot. He went against orders, but he succeeded. So Obi-Wan and the Council had no reason to do any more than like give him attitude for it.
I mean,
So I feel like
the
at
the,
that point,
the ultimate
okay,
the ultimate failure, the council wasn't around. They kind of got betrayed all in one night.
oh yeah, it wasn't one night, but I mean like all those times if you see through the Clone Wars where he goes directly against orders and
Yeah.
he doesn't really get any consequences because he wins, he succeeds. She fails, and then she either fails. Okay, you tell me which one is better. She either fails, or when she hurts her master, she instantly realizes like, oh shoot, like I hurt my master, and then she goes back, and then the council's like, well, this is like. Do you think at that point, after the first time with the first master, her prior master, where she used Arcata and the dark side, and then this time now, where she just used the dark side to harm her new master, do you think that's enough for the council to be like, okay, goodbye, or do you think that's still a little? She needs to like go ahead and like actually kill the master or something.
I don't think you need to make the council act on every branch. I think the council acts to seek counsel for her, and when she
Okay.
wants to go off and save whatever needs saving, that current master forbids her from doing so because it's kind of like I need to leave, and then the master blocks the doors. Like, you'll have to get through me first. This isn't the way, and a fight is forced. I think that
Okay.
that
Yeah.
alone, especially since she's coming from a morally correct place, but she's using the dark side, she would engage the master in a righteous motivation.
Hello.
Hello? Can you hear me?
You there?
Can you hear me?
Okay. There you go. I can hear you.
All right. What's the last thing you heard?
You said the council doesn't do every decision that should be there for every decision. Her master, if he should forbade her from doing it, and that's the last thing I heard.
Yeah. So you know those examples when the student's like, "I have to leave," and then the master blocks the doorway, and he's like, "You'll have to get through me."
Uh-huh.
I think that alone, because she's coming from a morally just place, that alone is enough to set her down send her into a downward spiral, because she ends up hurting the master because she believes so much that this is the right thing to do.
Okay.
But then she looks down at the master, have like badly wounded and injured, and then she says, "I'm never gonna be able to forgive myself for this," and then I can't face the council. So then she runs away and goes into a downward spiral. So that's why I don't think
Okay.
that the council should be at every turn deciding what she does
You
next.
don't believe the council should banish her directly.
I think I think that it's best that they come at this from a very um, vague understanding of events.
Okay.
So
So,
so because it gives her agency to make that decision herself. Like, she she used the dark side, but it was for what she considers to be a morally correct motivation. But at the same time, she is burdened with that guilt. So she makes the decision to run away. The council doesn't really know what
okay.
happens until they catch up with the master, and the master tells them, and then they're going to pursue her and try to bring her back, not to punish her, but bring her back and to kind of, remove this volatile piece from the chessboard.
Okay. Wow, Executor is wild. That's the first thing that came to my mind when you said that.
I mean,
I know you don't mean it. I know you don't mean it, but
well, I
um,
mean, they did consider it for. I mean, after Dooku genocided a planet, then in Dark Disciple they were like, I think we need to kind of kill this guy, but they still.
wait, Dooku genocided the planet, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know much about the prequels, bro. Like, I watched in a minute. It was kind of boring. I've watched A- Attack on the Clones. It was good. About to watch Revenge on the Sith. That's the one I'm anticipating. Um,
Oh, okay.
but I did not know Dooku. Dooku always felt like a person who was like he felt halfway until I watched the Clone Wars. Like before I watched the Clone Wars, he felt like one of those halfway villains. Then I watched the Clone Wars, I was like, nah, this man's fully in it.
Yeah. So in the
Um,
book Dark Disciple, it is in the midst of like a battle, but
mhm.
he ends up genociding like trillions of people. And
Trillions.
yes.
I thought
So
billions, not trillions. Oh damn.
so in the aftermath of that, when the council is deciding to send Quinlan Voss to bring him in, they suggest, or Mace Windu suggests, we should probably just kill him at this point to prevent more people from dying. They
Okay,
don't
okay.
they don't go through with it, but it is a thought that crosses the council's mind after he kills a lot of people. So they would still be concerned about getting her back. The council, for all of their hubris and their failures, they don't purposefully think anyone is lost completely, right?
Okay. Okay.
Except for Palpatine, but that's self-evident.
But, well, once you're that narcissistic, there's not much you can do for a person. Um, the uh,
You
the
saw
only
Yoda.
reason,
You saw Yoda in the Clone Wars when he met Bane, the ghost of Bane.
yeah.
He was like, "What up,
Oh
dude?"
yeah.
It's not real. Wasn't really angry.
Oh man, bro. But the whole reason I wanted the council specifically to ban her is because I did not want her to have her lightsaber, and I did not want her to have a reason. Uh, when she were to go back to the light side, I did not want her to have a reason to go back to the council. But okay, this is like my
Well, here,
plan
here,
for her
here.
for the future. Is
Let's hold on, hold
sorry.
on.
Uh-huh.
If that's something you want to do, when she looks down and says, "This is unforgivable," and runs away, she leaves her lightsaber with the master.
Okay. That makes sense.
But really quickly, Craig McGuinn says, "I wonder what the equivalent of tortilla chips is in Star Wars." I would think, like, because they in The Force Awakens, the bread that Rey, I mean, it's just called portion bread. So what would they call tortillas? I mean, they have Ronto wraps. I would
Man.
just say carb flats. Carb flat crisps. Flat crisps. I don't know. Continue. Sorry.
Bro, he was talking about the Star Wars universe, not the Disney fan fiction.
No, that's what I'm saying. It would be
I'm joking. I'm joking.
flat
I'm joking.
crisps.
It's a joke it's an inside joke I make sometimes about how Disney made a fan fiction of Star Wars, but
Oh.
it's not a serious. It's not too much of a serious joke. I actually like the movies. In my opinion, I think the movies are good except for the eighth one. I didn't really like the eighth one, but I feel like the Rise of Skywalker was, as a movie, it was good. As a movie, it was good. I understand the grievances people have with the movies, and I do have the grievances. But at the end of the day, I can watch the movies and like chill out.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter what you
like
like
it's a
or
movie, bro.
dislike.
It's a movie, bro. At the end of the day, like come on. Yeah. Um. But actually, I have her falling. I do have her falling pretty deep in the dark side, and then realizing she can't be in the dark side anymore. Uh, it's gonna be like a whole thing. What was I saying? What were we saying just now? I completely lost topic.
She would leave her lightsaber when she runs away.
Oh yeah, leave a
But
lightsaber because
but you gave
I want her
me
to focus on the force.
but you gave me another
Yeah.
idea that you said that she realizes that she doesn't want to be in the dark side.
Oh yeah, but it's gonna be like a whole thing later. She's gonna be. It's gonna be like my idea is to have her like first lights. Actually, she might keep that lightsaber for a second because my idea is she's gonna have her first like actual fight with a lightsaber against this her actual Sith, the person who she's gonna go against, and
Okay.
she's gonna lose the fight so badly. She's gonna be like angry. She's gonna use the dark side throughout the fight, but she's gonna lose the fight so badly that I have two injury ideas for her. I have one injury idea of her the lightsaber. So like you know how a lightsaber is very hot and very bright, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the enemy throws the lightsaber at her. She's able to dodge it, but like the lightsaber gets right on her eye and makes her completely blind in one of her eyes. It
I
so
mean,
like
at that
either
point, it would
hits
have to
it,
be touching, right? Because
it touches her. That's what I mean. It touches her eye. Like
So-
so like and it blinds her.
lightsabers
eye.
don't emit heat.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, they don't admit heat, but if it touches her like right there, like barely touches
Yeah.
her, she's gonna like
Okay.
it's gonna like hurt her. Oh, did you think I meant like it barely like it doesn't touch her, but it, like
Like
like-
it whiffs her so close that the heat like burns her eyes.
Yeah, no.
open.
Okay, no, not like a flamethrower.
I will say I have an idea, and I think it's I think you should incorporate
Okay, what's your
it.
idea? What do you think?
So whatever happens with this fight, whatever happens with her using the dark side, I think that the catalyst for her realizing that this was all a big mistake is in the aftermath of whatever happens. Like maybe she throws a temper tantrum because she lost or something. She'll happen upon a child, and the child is looking at her like she's a monster.
Ah, I
And
see. I see.
and then she's like, and then the child runs away, and she's like, no, 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 I'm not gonna hurt you. And then like, um,
Oh, when she's
the,
like upset. Okay, I see what you're saying.
yeah,
Okay.
and so like there's like multiple encounters she has where people are just scared to just approach her, and she
Okay.
realizes that through her use of the dark side and from like after all this time, she looks in the mirror and her face is marred with scars from corruption,
Yeah.
and she does look like a monster. That's
Yeah.
why people are scared. Even if they don't know who she is, they'll look at her like as a passerby and be like, "Oh my god, like that's scary."
Hell no, bro. I'm not going over there. But okay, okay, that makes sense. And then so we can also incorporate in there, if you think this is okay, is the idea she also sees the fact that when she fights that fight, she finally sees that Sith and sees like someone who's truly been in the dark side, like they're actually consumed fully, and
Yeah.
they're to the point they're to the point to where they can't they need that Luke. They need that Luke to get them back or whatnot, and then that also she realizes that I would like that to be because
I mean, that would
my
be
idea
kind of
is
interesting to have
the
that person
difference.
be another Darksider, because that's never happened.
Oh, what do you mean? Like the person? What do you mean that person be another Vice?
Like, the person that brings them back is someone that's on the dark side that she sees as way too damn evil, and she realizes that's the
Okay,
end
okay,
game for her if she continues.
okay, that makes sense. Yeah, but about the injury, what sounds cooler? Just cooler. Nothing else to it. What sounds cooler? I guess you can idea what story points I can add to it. Is what sounds cooler or better for the story? Losing her vision on one eye, or her losing her leg from like half the calf down. One of her legs from the half calf down. Her left eye, or her left leg.
Both of those are very tropey.
Oh
on
dang
on
it! Those are trophy. I
I
didn't even
mean,
think
like
about that.
on one side you have her losing a limb, so you have
But I didn't want to do the hand. It
Anakin and
felt too
Luke.
close.
But then on the other
Yeah.
hand, you have her losing some of her sight, and that's like Kanan and Jarrus, and like um, I forget their name, but there's another one that went blind too.
Dang, I didn't know there was people who went blind though. Okay, so
But
what's something
that's
that's
not that
not
doesn't
trophy?
mean those are bad things. I'm just letting you know that that's stuff that typically. I mean, if it happens, that just means it's Star Wars. So I
Well,
mean,
the issue I have is I don't want her to like go out the story completely unscathed because I feel like it kind of annoys me when people do that up too much in Star Wars. When I'm like, you're going against these laser things that if they touch you, you're gonna go like limbs off. Like I want there to be some
oh
result
yeah.
in here of like that. That's the reason I want her to. And I didn't want to do the hand because I felt like that was. I didn't. I want to leave that to the Skywalkers. You know.
Well,
That's why Ray's not.
what
What were
if
you saying?
what if what she suffers isn't physical? It's intrinsic. Like, what if like throughout all of this time, the person she was trying to save or whatever the cause she was fighting for ended up not working out? Like, what if like
Oh no, it's gonna work out. But like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I
well,
see.
here's an example. It could work out, but for example, in so achieving the goal, she is the one that causes the death of someone that's like that's like bundled with this. Like, all right,
You could say she ends up accidentally helping the enemy, and then that ends up killing a lot of people who were innocent, and you know, like she
Yeah,
inadvertently, like, yeah. I see. Is that where you're trying to go with that? Like, not exactly that, but like something
I
like
was
that.
trying to think of a specific example, but that's largely the idea I was going for. Like, just to give another example,
Like
if she
Leia, like
wanted to,
when Leia was. Oh, sorry.
if she wanted to, let's say, save someone, right? And
Yep.
in the process of trying to save that someone, she ends up being the one that kills them.
Yeah, like
So
Leia
it's
with
another.
Alderaan.
Essentially, I don't think Alderaan. I don't. I mean, Leia tried to say Dantooine, but just,
Like, no, I'm saying she basically, like, other than context of future, she basically damned two planets there. Like, because the logic there, is that okay? I give them the other planet, they're gonna like save this planet, but like the, the idea of you were trying to do something good, but end up doing double the harm that could have been done if you didn't try to do that thing that was good.
yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Like, I'm really trying to like understand what you're saying and like put it out. I apologize for like interrupting and stuff.
No, you don't. You don't have to apologize at all. I think you have a good framework to work off of.
Yeah.
I think what your next steps are is to figure out all of the story beats that we've talked about, and
We do have
then
some other story beats that are crazy too.
and then you can figure
Like,
out other things as well. But
yeah.
for the most part, you want to finish her arc before you think about other story beats.
Yeah. Um, Actually, one of the other main villains was gonna be so did the Empire like control the entire galaxy, or was there planets the Empire just didn't hold? I didn't understand that.
They essentially dominated the known galaxy. They 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 weren't prevalent in like the unknown regions where the ascendancy where it was. They
Okay.
the wild space is hugely uncharted, so essentially they took over pretty much every system and sector that was under the Republic.
Okay. Is there enough gaps in Star Wars lore, or like enough like ambiguity of how many planets are around for me to like make up a planet? Or
Yeah.
uh okay.
So there's a lot of stories that whenever Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor is a good example of this.
Mhm.
There's essentially the Empire usurped control from the Republic, right? But there's a lot of backwater planets and outer rim planets that weren't part of the Republic, right? And we have some stories to that effect where the Empire, so like in the book Ahsoka, right? Raeda is largely independent, right? And then she hides out on that planet and she's just living normally, and then the Empire arrives to occupy it and to take it over. So there are planets out there that you can make up where it's largely been untouched, and they're not aware of like the
Okay.
galactic politics, and then the Empire shows up to conquer that planet.
Okay. Because that was one of my biggest things I want to do. Is I want to like one of my main villains. He's going to be like a crime boss, but he's going to be a crime boss with force abilities. And one of the other parts about my story is I want to expand the idea of the force people with the force, because I want to show that there's so many people in the galaxy, there's so many people with the force that people don't even know about, that are strong, weak, focused, that figure out how to train themselves. And also, from my understanding, this is probably more of a Legends thing. There are certain people who have certain abilities in the Force. Like there was this one Sith girl, I forget her name. Uh, she was the apprentice of Darth Zana, and she was able to see the future and the past. She was able to see all your past and it's predict future outcomes or whatever. And that was a thing in the Force. only she was able to do, and people have things only they're able to do in the Force. So I wanted to expand more on that and have that as like a running theme throughout it. And the overall theme of the entire plot of the entire series I want to have is perspective. The perspective is how your perspective is what's good, or is what's good and bad. The council, so for her specifically to ban her somehow, or her to do something to ban her, the council thought she was unworthy to be a Jedi. She felt she felt like she knew the way to be a Jedi, or be someone with the Force. It like the idea that everyone has a different perspective. The Sith thinks that they have the understanding of what the future should look like, um, and that's the idea. That's the idea I wanted to be for. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like perspective. Of course, I'm going to flesh it out more. This is more generalized ideas, but that's the idea. That's the generalized idea, and I want her to. The idea of her at the end of the story to have made, or have started to make, a society of people who are that's accepted of force sensitive people and non force sensitive people, and having force sensitive, especially force. This focus more on force sensitive people, having them as using the force for things other than being, a Jedi or a Sith, but also using the force for other careers and whatnot. I'd have to figure out what careers would be good for the force, but I would imagine there's a lot that you could use the force to help. The force can do a lot of stuff. The force can do a lot of stuff. It's not just telekinesis, buddy.
Oh, I'm aware.
Or telepathy. Like it. No, I'm talking to myself really. It does a lot of things. So like probably like a doctor could use the force. A scientist, like you get what I mean, more accepted to multiple people, different types of people using the force in their own way, and more of like an open society. Because I feel like the council was too political, and also it was too focused on showing being like a Jedi, instead of being like the idea of let's get these force users and show them how the force, like show them how the force should be applied in life, and understand that, and then send them off their way to life and have them live their lives how they want, but they understand how to use the utility that they have, which is the force. Does this make sense, or am I crazy?
No, it makes complete sense. You can have a doctor that uses the force to make precision surgeries, so
Yes.
it's
Or
totally
yeah. Have a monk that uses the force for obvious reasons.
for obvious reasons to do the death touch. That's what they use it for.
The death touch. That's crazy. Wait, is that an actual ability? Wait, what?
I mean, that's what. It's not an actual ability. It's the death touch is it's demuck, which is something that like you learn from Shaolin monks. But that's what I meant by monks. You know, it's just.
Okay, I'm sorry, I did not get that reference. Oh my god.
All good.
But yeah, I appreciate you listening, but I appreciate that, Rusty. Or sir, I don't know what they call you. Mr. Dyad. We'll call you that, Mr. Dyad.
Or just call me Element.
Element. Okay, Element. What happened to where's the other I forgot his name.
Choco?
The other guy you stream with. Choco, yeah.
Choco's on he's on Fridays with me in the main Dyad in the Force show. This is more like Yoda's Hut is where sometimes I just do chatting, or in this case, I'm about to stream this game. Sometimes he comes on Yoda's Hut. Last week he was on, but for the most part, Tuesdays are just like a chill day. So
okay, that makes sense.
I mean, I'm always down to talk Star Wars. You know, you don't really have to thank me for. I mean, this is all very, very interesting, and I love talking about the lore. And you know, your story sounds really, really compelling so far, and definitely keep me in touch with all of the stuff that you flesh out, and we can.
There's one last thing I needed you to answer. One last question.
I gotta cut it off here. I'm just kidding. What's up?
Oh, okay. You got me. I was fine with it too. Like, if you really need me to stop now, like I'll stop, and we, you know. One last thing. Her name and her species. Her name. I have three names: Hera, Alma, and Am Amilario. I can't pronounce that,
You want to type that in
but
the chat or something?
I'll type it. I'll type it. I'll send you it.
Because I know, because
It's it's a Spanish.
if you haven't seen Rebels, Hera is already taken.
Hera's already taken. Okay, cool. No, it's been a while since I've seen Rebels. Here, I sent you. So we got Alma, Hera, and then the one I sent you. That's a Spanish name, but like it sounded really cool, so I wanted to use it.
Ameliore.
Yeah, Emiliore. Yeah,
I
one of those.
I'm a huge
Or
fan of the last half of it.
so how would you say that?
Liore.
Eloi, Eloi,
No, just
Liore,
Liore.
Liora, Liore. Okay, I thought you meant the E too. Liore, Ore. Okay, Liore. Okay, that sounds good. I'll use that right now.
I mean,
And
that's just my what I think. You know, it's your
yeah,
story.
yeah, yeah. No, that's no. I'm saying that I really didn't know which one of those to use, so I'll just use that for right now. And then if I find a one that I believe is better, I'll do that. I literally just searched these up. Like I
I
literally
mean,
was searching for names on the internet and
so
found
this
these.
is the immediate name that I land on when I read that name.
Lore Vox. Is
Li-
that like an actual name, or is that just
Liore Vox.
Leore Fox? Leore Fox. Okay, is that an
It could
actual
be
name, or
Fox, but making it Vox just makes it that much more Star Wars, and it doesn't say Fox like explicitly.
yeah, yeah, okay, that makes sense. And in species, I'm driven between five different species. We can make do hybrids exist in Star Wars?
Yeah.
Okay. We got Rhodian, Falines, Kishiri, Mirialanis, Lens, McKeans. Do you know any of those species?
Yeah.
What sounds like a good hybrid, or what sounds like a good single one? Even
A good single one I really like is Mickey, and because
McKean.
they're like
Okay.
their tendril like hair
Hmm.
gives you so many options to create like the most fantastic and most fabulous hairstyle for her. Miriam Islands have hair too, but
Okay.
but like them like you've watched all of Star Clone Wars or
Um, so I watched it like 3, 4 years ago, and then now I'm rewatching it. And I'm season two.
do you remember the twins in the Clone Wars? The one that like when
No,
they're fighting the droids and then one of the clones malfunctions and kills one of them.
no. I don't believe I ever finished it. I think I got to like season 3 or 4 when
All
I
right, so
watched it like
let
2 years
me
ago. It was
I'll
on. I
send
watched
you
it on air.
let me send you an
Okay.
example
Now,
of
what would be the best hybrid for McKeans? What would be the best like two or one other one or two other ones out of those, or just one that you know off the top of your head? Because I do want to make a hybrid. I just wanted to do a single one out, so I know what is a primary idea, so then I can just add the hybrid to
um
make the character.
I honestly think you should just go with Mickey, to be honest.
I
So
want to do
here's
hybrid because of personal
I
reasons.
sent you two Mickeyans, Tipley and Tiplar from Clone Wars, and those are
Oh,
like
that
the
looks dope. That
tendrils.
looks dope. Okay. Yeah, that definitely does look dope. The hair. Oh, you could do so many
Yeah.
hairstyles with them. Oh my god. But seriously though, I just give me like another species name to do because I want to do a hybrid because it's really cool and personal life stuff.
Let's
I'm
see.
I'm mixed myself. I want to add the mixed idea to the character I would make. Of course,
I'm also sending you another Mickeyan that has
making.
fantastic hair.
It's so
Um,
weird because the hair feels like it. Does it move?
um, Considering their tendrils, yes.
Okay, they're tendrils. Okay, I thought tendrils was a descriptive statement, not a literal statement. Okay,
Here's another one.
I feel so bad for Chad. They gotta like They're like, what pictures are you talking about?
Oh,
They probably know.
they
They
know who
probably know
Tipli and
though.
Tiplar and Zine
Okay,
Morales is.
okay.
Um, if you were to do a hybrid, I mean, honestly, a Mickean and a Twi'lek sounds cool because you can have those
Toilets?
Yeah, a Twi'lek.
Twi'lek. Okay, I'm about to type that in real quick. Twi'lek. How you spell that?
I'm sending it to you, but you can
Okay,
do.
Twi'lek. Okay, thank you.
Oh wait, there's no I before the E. Why did it autocorrect? There, it's that.
Okay, okay. Twi'lek.
I mean,
Okay,
you
okay.
could do something with so the Twi'leks or the Twi'leks have the two Leku, the two.
Mhm.
I don't know if you can see me on stream or see me on the call, but they have those nice
No, I can't
things.
see you on the stream or the call. Like it just doesn't show me anything on the call or the
I'll
stream.
send you that as well. So think of like Ayla Sakura and Bib Fortuna, for example. If you have
Oh,
any
okay,
of
okay,
them,
okay.
I'll send you a picture of them too. But you can
I like how you
do.
translated that. Okay, okay, okay. It's that you don't know them.
uh,
You hit me. You hit me on the jackpot though.
you
Yeah.
can do something with the tendrils that have like the two big Leku coming out.
Oh, it's that one. Oh man, that just reminded me of that depressing episode with the clones and the child. Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, okay.
So you can make a Twickian or a
Wickian.
or a Mick
Oh my god, that's
or
actually that's
a Micklek.
a Miklek or it's Wickian. Okay, okay. And they're both pretty. Okay, you sent me two lightsaber people, so they're both good at. They both have force abilities. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
They're
Twi'leks
force
and
sensitive.
Mickeans are very, very force sensitive.
Okay, not as force sensitive as humans. Um, those humans got like some sort of advantage
I mean,
armor.
per capita, probably not, right? Because there's so many of them. Of
Yeah,
course,
yeah, yeah.
of course.
Oh, that's true. That there's so many of them. Yeah.
Let's say if you take like 1,000 Twi'leks, and then you have 5 force sensitives, and you have like 5 billion, 7 billion humans, and then there's like 20.
20. That actually makes okay. That's a valid thing. Okay, cool. And I'll just for time's sake, because I don't want to ruin your time, I'll just send you like some character profiles I have, and you let me know what you think later when you're free.
Yeah, absolutely. We can keep the channels open. You just keep in touch and keep me updated, and you know we'll talk back and forth offline, and we'll see where this goes. But it sounds interesting.
Okay, okay. Appreciate the conversation
Absolutely.
element. Yeah. I just I really do appreciate it because I have it's been so hard finding people who like know about Star Wars so I can like ask them how this stuff works. And I know I was contesting it a lot, but I was only contesting just to make sure you understood what I was saying.
Yeah.
The whole thing about the dark side because we literally spent the first hour on that.
I mean, that's the most widely misunderstood aspect of Star Wars.
Okay, okay. So yeah, I'm not the only one. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah,
But yeah,
there's a lot of
yeah.
YouTube videos out there that just
Explain it like that.
they explain it using their feelings, right? Where I come from
Hmm.
is in the Star Wars book, in reference books, and the stuff that we have
Hmm.
in the books and comics that paint this very explicit interpretation
Okay,
of the
okay.
Force.
Yeah, because my original interpretation was the issue with the Jedi Council and the light side was the fact that they thought balance in the Force was only one side of the scale. You needed both to have balance, and that was their downfall. Was the fact that they only thought one side was balanced, and that kind of was their issue.
Now they
Uh,
fell because they were
Politics,
complacent, and
which yeah,
just like Luke says in The Last Jedi, they thought, well, most of them thought through their hubris, they thought that they can own the light side, but it doesn't belong to them. But balance,
that's actually low key though. Okay.
but balance in general is the flow of the Force itself, from life, death, decay to rebirth, and
Okay,
just
okay.
like Anakin describes, just like it says in the Star Wars book and Secrets of the Sith. You know, it is a current, it's a flow.
Yeah.
It's not a balancing scale. Like you don't reach balance with both sides. It's literally whether it flows freely or not. And
Okay.
The Sith throw it out of balance by trying to control the dark side, which creates a dam where the force should be flowing freely. That's what balance is, whether it's free or
Okay.
not.
I, I always assumed the force represented life, and the idea with life is if you just let the world go as it will, you kind of end up screwing yourself over. But if you over will the world and try to control things that you can't control, it ends up a negative. It ends up you destroying your life too. So you can't do both. You have to figure out a way to let life, the things in life hit you as they hit you, but also be able to change the things that you can change. That's
Yeah,
always what I thought
give
the
me the
force was
power
representing.
to change the things that I can, accept the things that I cannot. So it's like
Yeah.
this is why
Okay.
I always describe the Force as a river. The Jedi are the ones that build water wheels so that they're using the flow to power their life and to aid them, and
And the
then the
Sith are
Sith
the
build a
humans.
dam.
The Sith are the humans.
Well, the Jedi are the humans too. They're just using
I
the
mean the
river.
industrial age. Yo, let's ruin the environment to get some power.
All right.
Okay,
Now I'm gonna have
well,
to cut you off, but
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah, yeah.
appreciated the conversation,
Appreciate it.
and I
Yeah.
also appreciate you reaching out to talk to me about it. You know, I love talking about this stuff, so you'll never
Yes.
you'll never see me be like talk about Star Wars. Nah, I'm not in the mood.
Okay, well, appreciate it. See you later, Element.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
Okay. How are we feeling, guys? Oops, there. How are we feeling? Hey there. Wow. How can someone join the to conversation live? It's typically something that, if it's a scheduled conversation, then I'll bring them into the call. Um, but we've spent a little over an hour and a half talking, so I do want to get to Veilguard at some point. VGC over on the Twitch side says, "Let the force flow through you" is very literal, like the river. Sith use the river like the dams to power their own devices. Correct. And then we have the Jedi using water wheels and water mills to make their lives just a little bit easier, but they're not stopping or impeding the flow. Montreal official, now I'm in the chat. Let's go. But as I get to Veilguard, we have something called this. So let me do something really quickly. I'm not going away, but I will be back to create a new character in Veilguard and um, I guess do an impromptu mukbang. But I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. um, eat up, sir, in both chats. Appreciate the double dip. How's it going, gentle generation? Alright. We're here. I have some pizza, but otherwise... Should we create a new character? Is that the move? Let's do that. New game. Finally, we're changing.
I knew him as Solus. Smart, thoughtful, loved to hear himself talk. But long ago, he had a different name. The Dreadwolf. Ancient elven god of lies, or heroic rebel against tyranny, depending on which story you believe. In his desperate fight against the corrupt elven gods, Solus imprisoned them, creating a veil that split our world from the raw magic of the Fade. He had won.
The veil.
But the veil cost the elves everything. Their magic, their freedom, even their immortality. Now, Solus wants to tear down that veil and undo the damage he caused, even if that means our world has to burn. Somebody's gotta stop him, and that's where you come in.
Okay, TikTok should be able to hear it now. What do we got? We got an elf, which I always am an elf. I might be blocking the elf, but Canary, human, dwarf. I mean, we always play elves. This might not take as long as we usually take. Oh, we got Asians now. We have Asian elves. Alves. Alves is what I call them. Okay, well let's see if we can make this one into an Asian. Okay, that one's like buff Zac Efron. This one's slim. weathered. Well, definitely going for the... that one. I don't think we need acne. Rugged. Vitiligo? What is that? Oh, that. Okay. Don't need that. Let's see. Hold on. This is bothering me. We need epic brows. Chin. Why is it such a pointed chin? Why is it the pointed chin? Body? I don't really care much about that stuff. Eye shape. Let's make him Asian. Now it just looks like a model. Have to change that hair. I don't know how successful I'm going to be in creating an Asian. Oh, wow, that... Maybe it's the hair that's making him... Hold on, I need to start... from an actual Asian. Wow, buff. Let's change the hair because that's throwing me off. Hey, it's mine. I don't really have a lot of. I mean, that's kind of like the hair that I want, to be honest. We'll start there. Go with a weathered look. Or dark circles. Yeah, whatever. Forehead. Ooh, that's angry. Don't want to make it too angry. I already did that. Cheeks and jaw. Don't want it that gaunt. Don't want the many jowls. Okay. Why do I look like borderline goblin? Hold on. Maybe it's because of complexion. Honestly, I think I did a good job in creating a Filipino elf. I wish I could make the hair just a little bit like... Like, I can't make the hairstyle less puffy, less voluminous. I always do this. Sith eyes. No. The blue-green looks really cool. Ooh. Ooh. I don't want to be blind. That's pretty cool. Makeup. Kind of want like a... like a darker skin tone. It's a little bit too... Glitter? Okay, I think that's it. Oh no, do we give ourselves a scar? Fairy Tale Crest. What do we think? If any of you are still here. I think we all know that I'm gonna be a rogue. I mean, there's no possible way I'd be anything else that doesn't use a bow. Backstory. Your faction choice. Grey Wardens. Oh, that was my choice in Inquisition, if I remember. Reality warping magic. Keen eye, close to the veil. Vigilant training, base defense and health. Against darkspawn. This is that keen eye. Shadow dragons. Lord of Fortune. Perform takedowns on enemies with slightly less effort. The Morn Watch. Afflictions. I mean, that'd be kind of cool for if I could. Antivan Thrones Crow. Crow. Ruthless Assassins, but you know, an extra potion? I have to go with the Veil Jumpers. Aldveer. Sure. When lives are at stake, Rook defied orders to rescue people from the mystic perils of Arlathan. On an expedition to ruins in Arlathan Forest, the Veil Jumpers found ruins that contained important lost lore and deadly danger. Barely surviving the ruins' ancient magical defenses, Rook's small team recovered an invaluable map leading to a hidden area of the forest. Although the team escaped, other Veil Jumpers found themselves trapped. Rook chose to return to the ruins, saving his teammates' lives, but losing the map. He was lauded for his bravery, but the map's loss caused some resentment among Veil Jumper leaders. Sounds good. You know, gallivanting in in ancient ruins, finding lost lore. That sounds just like me. Playstyle. Storyteller. Plunge into story with a more forgiving... Oh, wait. This is like difficulty? Oh, I'm not here to bang my head against the wall. I mean, I'll just do the normal adventurer. You can refer to some events from Dragon Age Inquisition by using the customize. Oh. 8 years ago, catastrophic breach in the Fade, realm of magic and dreams, traveling many lands, marrying people to cause the Inquisitor to close the breach and stop the villain behind. But my Inquisitor was male. Make changes. My Inquisitor was an elf. Was a male elf. Oh, I don't remember how he looks. Let's just... How's it going, fives? I'll just do my best to replicate my Inquisitor. I'm not going to worry about looks really, but my Inquisitor did have a particular hairstyle. No, it was like a slicked back. Go with that, unless there's something else that I'm missing. Was it this? No, it wasn't a full ponytail. It was like a half ponytail. Okay, we're just gonna go with this. It was black. I guess that's the closest I can come to my... He didn't have any tattoos. Although his eyes look lazy as all hell. Alright, that's as much as I'm going to venture into my Inquisitor that I remember. How was his name?
I won't let this stand.
We need to move. It's good to see you again.
I won't let this stand.
Oh, it was this. It was Kestrel Astray. I remember now. Okay. No. Why did it go back to... Oh, there. Kestrel of Ellen. Okay. Fine. Yes. Decide whether Inquisitor was romantically involved, and if so, with who. I think it was... From TV, I never thought she'd have time for romance. I think that's what I was doing. No, it was her. There we go. Yes. Back to Philippe. No. Back to... Gotta go with old reliable. Sundrel Altfear.
I'm glad you're here.
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 Wow, it's either like...
I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here.
Whatever. It's a good... middle ground, I guess. Sundrel Aldfir. Rogue Veil Jumper. Let's go. Finally into the game!
So, where were we? Oh, right. Him. Our best plan is to stop the Dreadwolf before he can perform his ritual. After following his trail across half the known world, Athos, capital of the Tevinter Imperium. But to find the Dreadwolf in a city this big, we need a local expert. So, naturally, our story begins where all great stories begin. With the seediest bar in town. And a missing contact.
Let's try this again. Where's Navgalis?
You think you can come into my bar and make demands?
My guy looks angry. I did a good job. Now, hold on. This is where we set up who exactly will be. I kind of want to do beat down the entire... Oh, this is cool. So they provide context as to what's happening. Whereas in past games, you would like make a choice that sounds reasonable, and then you end up doing something completely different. But my guy looks super angry right now, and I feel like I need to make him do something angry. What are we thinking? I'm gonna do it.
Nev Gallus is my only shot at finding the Dreadwolf. I'm not leaving until I know where she is. Be ready to talk by the time I get to you.
Okay.
Darling, you're adorable.
Oh, I can't control this.
Not enough gold in the world for this.
Varric, now!
Meet Bianca. She'd like you to stay a while.
Nev Gallus.
Dumat Plaza. The Venatori cultists took her to Dumat Plaza.
Thanks. Your friend Nev Gallus is at Dumont Plaza.
I heard. That's why you're my second in command. Although, for the record, there was probably an easier way to do that than fighting an entire bar.
So you say that? But we do have Nev's location now, so...
Don't get cocky.
Come on. Harding will be worried.
All right. Break's over.
When do I get a bow? When can I actually control him?
She's the best damn detective I've ever met. If she says she's got a lead on Solus, I believe her.
Liliana?
The Archon's palace. Something must have gotten them riled up.
Should we be in more of a hurry to get out of here?
We don't want to look conspicuous. Just get out of here nice and casual. Find Nev Gallus and stop Solus.
Alright, 1 second. Let's make this a little bit smaller. I have to walk?
You still think you can talk him down before he starts his big ritual?
That ritual is going to tear down the veil. The only thing separating us from the Fade and an endless number of demons. I have to talk him down.
Wait!
us? Is it because of the bar?
Fast in Minrathous.
We've got to help her.
I mean,
We don't have time to get arrested, especially if we...
we're gonna help her. Do you think Yoda's hut is still there? Who lives in the abandoned Yoda's hut? I don't know.
Oh, crap.
We're too late.
Maybe the
But if we hurry, we can still stop
maybe the
Solus before it
foliage
finishes. Let's go.
took it back. The planet took it back.
Harding's this way. She'll get us to Dumont Plaza, then Nev will get us to Solus.
Watch out! Is Sola summoning demons on purpose?
My guess is the veil is weakening, and they're slipping through the cracks.
And when the veil comes down completely,
And the whole world is going to look a lot like this.
Oh look,
Come on,
a
this way,
convenient
to get us to
plank.
Harding.
F? Really? I'm not used to pressing F to vault things.
You're safe now. Get inside and bar the door as quick as you can, okay?
Give me that bow. I'd like to use the bow now.
Harding, you all right?
I've been doing what I can to help. The ritual must be weakening the veil. There are a lot of scared people out here.
And a lot of demons. Haven't seen this many come through the Fade in years.
And what about you two? Are you okay?
fought some demons, and the Archon's palace took a few shots at us. Nothing we couldn't handle.
Speak for yourself.
I feel like I
Have you got
created
gear?
Right over
a
there.
character that matches the voice really well.
Where's Nev Gallus? Wasn't she at the meeting point?
The Venatori got to her first.
Yes!
They grabbed her before we arrived and paid off the bar owner to keep it quiet.
I'm not surprised our detective did something to piss off a cult of murderous blood mages, but their timing stinks. The bar owner said the Venatori took Nev to Dumont Plaza. Can you get us there, Harding?
Not a problem. I saw Dumont Plaza while I was scouting the area, and it was crawling with Venatori. Follow me.
Eyes up. We've got company.
Demon.
Use your light attack up to 5 times in a row to create an attack chain. The last hit is a final attack and deals increased damage. Okay.
Here they come.
Okay, so space is to dodge. Oh.
I think that's the last of them.
Good. Let's get to Dumont Plaza and find Nev.
Drink healing
You all
potion.
right? Patch yourselves up if you need it.
I don't get it. If
How's it going,
Solas
Master
clears out
James?
the veil, doesn't that destroy everything?
Solas always talked about how beautiful the ancient world was,
That world existed before the Veil, and he wants to bring it back.
even if his ritual kills us all in the process.
Okay. Unsure of how... if I like the bow mechanic.
Oh no, I think that's Dumont Plaza.
Let's move.
I can't even shoot them.
Venatori cultists!
Reinforcements should be here soon.
I hate these assholes.
I just keep killing them all. No biggie.
Looks like the Venatori put up a barrier to block the way.
Destroy nearby crystals to bring it down. I suppose this is the one. I really hope that there's perks to
Friendly bunch of cultists, aren't they?
Crossed paths with them in the Veil Jumpers. They were hunting for magic and putting people.
make drawing the bow quicker.
Come on. Guess we're sliding down.
What? Can't I walk through here and not slide down? Alright, here we go.
They're allies of Ned Gallus. Kill them all.
Static strikes. Use tab to select your static strikes ability. Out of range.
Barictethras. The Venatori are in these streets. Take your revenge.
Ow! Out of arrows! That's not something I...
Another barrier. But it looks like Nev's work, not the Venatori's.
Oh, the arrows regen? I was about to say, if I had to, like, buy arrows all the time.
Varric, Harding. Not the worst timing.
Nev, it's so good to see you. We thought the Venatori had kidnapped you.
They thought the same thing. A lot of Venatori in the city have reason to hate me. Figured I'd play along. Find out who wanted to settle the score this time. Then the sky started raining demons. So I'm back on the job.
Appreciate it. Rook, this is Nev Gallus, our local expert. She's gonna help us find Solus. Nev, meet Rook. Harding and I found him a while back. Thought we could use an expert on trouble.
Rook, like the chess piece?
One of the strongest pieces on the board, but he tends to think in straight lines.
We haven't got a lot of time. Varric said you had a lead on Solus?
You get right to the point.
I'm gonna make decisions based on a rook. I'm just gonna plow straight through in a straight
I
line.
haven't seen Solus in person, but I did find hints of old magic, similar to what you get in elven ruins. I traced it to a building beneath Our Lady of Victory. That's where your man is hiding.
Then let's go. Before this ritual he's doing gets any worse.
Worse, this ritual's already drawing more power than I'd expect from a dozen mages. You told me he was working alone.
I also told you he was an ancient elven god.
An elven god. Well, whatever he is, he's causing trouble in my city. Let's go.
All citizens in the Canal District must remain in their homes.
So if we do catch Solus, or the Dreadwolf, whatever he calls himself, what's the plan?
He wants to bring down the veil. Hopefully that ritual takes his full attention.
So we catch him while he's doing his ritual, so he can't fight us.
That's the hope. If it comes to a straight-up fight, we're dead.
This nonsense is why the Klingons killed their god. I suppose, you know.
Slide down the line to get across.
I'm getting to
I don't F with that stuff anymore. I answer to no one but myself.
There. That's the building I tracked Solus to.
Looks like the Venatori also found it. And then demons found them.
These things look like I can destroy them for things. Nice. Gaming sense. It's a quick fire bow. Hold, aim shy, replenish over time. Okay.
Enchantment on the entrance. I can get it.
Well, what's this?
Venatori. They must have tracked the magic to this building as well.
And then the demons found them.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer bunch.
So this is the Dreadwolf's hideout.
One of them, at least. Not sure how long he's been here.
Some of this looks ancient.
Man, that's gonna take some getting used to.
Apparatus itself.
F to vault? Why can't we just jump? Because that's dodge. Okay.
Broken chains. Solus is freeing slaves.
Solus hates slavery. One of the few things we actually agreed on.
He said the other elven gods were tyrants who oppressed his people. He was trying to help them.
What do you see?
No sign of Solus. Just a big glowing window or mirror or something.
Well, that sounds ominous.
Give.
Ancient elves doing something to a dragon, I think.
Yeah. Trying to control it, maybe?
Solus said the other elven gods were evil. If they were binding dragons, he was right about that much, at least.
More demons. Locked. There must be a way to open it. Let's look around.
Well, before we
Air's
open it,
full of magic. Solus
I
used a
have
lot
to
of power for
comb through
something.
every corner of this wall.
Solus, the Dreadwolf, Fen Harel. He's got a lot of names.
I always called him Juggles.
F is jump.
Nice work.
That's so
Let's see
weird.
what's on the other side.
What's everybody doing while they lurk?
You saw earlier, Rook.
I think it's an alluvian. I've seen a few in Arlington Forest. They're elven.
It acts like a doorway from one place to another. Solus uses them to get around quickly.
He must have gone through it.
Election coverage, so I'm ignoring this by watching this instead.
I know these trees.
Appreciate you. I'm
This
paying attention to
is
off to the
Arlington
side of things, but
Forest.
And there's your ritual.
not really
Powerful.
trying to pay it too much
Never seen
attention.
anything like it.
The tremors are getting worse.
And we've got demons.
And I thought the demons were bad back in Minrathis.
I gotta. It's way too sensitive. Let's go 2.5. Wait, is acceleration on? Okay, good.
The Fade's a mess this close to the ritual. No telling what could come through.
Does it feel like those tremors are getting worse?
Keep moving and try not to think about it.
Is there no way to like parry? I'd much rather parry.
We get tremors every time one of those big crystals at the ritual site lights up.
Not many of them left to light. Might want to hurry.
What's in here? A big green pot.
Almost there.
I've been rereading Lord of the Rings recently. It's been fun revisiting it. It's always a good thing to do, especially with Silmarillion, if you really want to. I'm like torn between exploring right now.
Compared to how many will get if Solus finishes his ritual.
Exploring it. I guess this is just the tutorial stage, right? I should just probably stick to the roads.
We have to stop this demon quickly.
Watch the lightning!
How did demon this large get through the veil?
It's a pride demon. Damn thing probably sensed Solus's ego.
Ew. I've actually never read the Silmarillion. Well, first few chapters.
Good enough.
I mean, it reads like a textbook, so I don't blame anybody that falls off after the first couple of chapters.
All right, I'll take it from here.
Are you sure?
Positive. You three just keep the demons off me while I talk to him.
Varric, Solus isn't gonna stop just because an old friend asks nicely.
Solus needs someone to sell him another option, to help him justify changing his mind.
I mean, Varric knows Solus.
We've got your back. If anyone can get through to him, you can.
Thanks, Rook. Whatever else he is, he's my friend. And if he won't listen to me, then he'll hear from Bianca.
More demons!
Take care of the team for me. Hey, Chuckles. Hope I'm not interrupting.
There you are.
Let's buy him some time.
I hope Varric is getting through to Solus.
He better talk fast. We can't hold these demons off forever.
The veil is a wound inflicted upon this world. It must be healed.
By drowning the world in demons?
I have taken precautions to minimize the damage, Varric.
Minimize the... People are dying right now. You need to listen. Please.
People are always dying. It is what they do.
Shit. We need a better plan.
Do you want me to take the shot?
Won't work. He's too powerful.
What if we disrupt the ritual?
How?
See those statues? If we break the scaffolding holding that one up, the whole thing will come down on Solus.
It's risky. Interrupting a ritual of this scale will have consequences.
And what about the demons? Varric needs us to hold them off.
Right. You two stay here. I'll bring down the statue.
What? No. Stepping into all that raw magic is suicide.
The storm could
I've never watched a sequel trilogy either. There's a lot of Star Wars I haven't seen. We'll get to it, man. There's a lot of Star Wars. I mean, you can always start with Skeleton Crew.
I'm a mage. I'll go.
Either way, someone needs to stay back and deal with the demons.
Harding will follow you into greater danger.
Let's go, Nev. Harding, keep the demons busy.
Good luck.
She's a mage, man. There's a lot of magical power. I make logical and calculated decisions.
This is it.
We need to bring down the scaffolding.
Why tear down the veil, knowing all the lives it'll cost?
We shared a journey years ago. Do you believe that I would do this if there was some other better option?
The pillar's weak, but...
It isn't falling. We need to push it.
Right!
Together. Now!
You came a long way and made a valiant effort, Varric, but this story does not end with my downfall.
Push!
This is like the first episode of an anime. All right, finally made it past the beginning.
You have no idea what you have done.
Soulless? I know what I did. I stopped you from destroying the world.
I was not destroying the world. When you disrupted my ritual, the magical energies pulled me here, into the Fade.
Okay, so that's why you're here. But why am I here?
Your physical body is unconscious, but you shed a few drops of blood at the ritual site. Enough for a tenuous connection.
Blood magic?
Firstly, I abhor the use of blood magic. Secondly, had I the power to control you, I would already have used it.
So all I have to do to get away from you is wake up.
And how much experience do you have willing yourself from sleep to wakefulness?
Can't be that hard.
While you practice, perhaps you would like to hear about the consequences of your actions.
Meaning?
The Evanurus, or as you would call them, the Elven Gods. The creatures that escaped. In ancient times, they ruled the elves, but that was not enough. They sought not just to be obeyed, but to be worshipped. When I rebelled, they drew on the horrific magic of the Blight, corrupting all they saw until I trapped them. Thanks to you, though, I am now trapped, and the blighted Elven Gods walk free.
Thanks to me? I wasn't the one performing a big ritual to free them.
Free them? My mortal enemies. I was ensuring that they would never escape their prison.
You were tearing down
You thought?
the veil.
I had a plan.
Varric always said you'd have a big explanation for why none of this was your fault.
Varric?
Yeah, he said that's your style. Never quite lies, clever half-truths that let you convince yourself you're doing the right thing. He tried to talk to you anyway, and now he's hurt.
Varric is quite practiced at shading the truth himself.
So those things that got out, you said they were gods?
They said they were gods. Blighted, tyrannical, sadistic gods.
Appreciate the commands, VGC. I gotta set some up.
But I am certain you...
Give me a list of commands you want me to set up.
That's really helpful. What are you, the elven god of sarcasm?
Lies, treachery, and rebellion.
Lies!
Depending upon the
Deceit!
story. And how could
More
I?
lies!
I do not have my ritual dagger. I cannot access my network of mirrors to travel from the lighthouse to anywhere in the world. All I can offer is what I know.
Helpful advice from the elven god of, and I am quoting you here, lies, treachery, and rebellion.
Depending on the story.
Elganan and Gillenane are your problem to solve. This is your responsibility now.
I fail to see how this is my responsibility now.
Why? Why tear down the veil?
Listen.
You have no idea what you have done. This is your responsibility now.
Well, look who's still with us.
Varric, you're okay. But I saw Solus stab you. You fell.
Trust me, kid. I've had worse. It'll take more than a flesh wound to stop me. Don't think I'll be making it out to the field anytime soon, though.
What happened?
I did my best to talk sense into Solus, but of course, he wasn't listening. He never does.
The plan did go a little wrong.
Yeah. Harding got everyone out. By the skin of her teeth, mostly. Before you start worrying, Nev will be fine. She's apparently a lot tougher than both of us put together. Or, at least, She's a lot tougher than me.
I should have come up
Guys,
with a
let
better
me know.
plan. I should have.
You worked with
I think I
Veilguard,
made a great
and you
character.
succeeded, by the way. World isn't drowning
It
in
looks like
demons.
something that it looks like a character that BioWare designed.
Solus in the Fade, but something else got out. Something.
Rook, you've got this. I've seen your work. Like the expedition where you lost that invaluable map, but saved your friends. There's a reason I dragged you into this whole Solus mess. You're clever, adaptable, and you don't know when to quit.
Rook, look who's awake. I've been searching the place for Lyrian potions. Didn't mean to intrude.
Not at all. I was just about to have a look around.
Oh, be careful if you go outside, Rook. It is a long way down. The Illuvian led us into something, and it's in the Fade. Because that's what we needed. The dream world.
Then I really need to look around.
Can't hurt. In theory. And we need to talk about our next move. Maybe find Harding? She went outside somewhere. There's a table in the central area here. I'll meet you both there.
Go ahead, Rook. Me, I need to sleep. See you later, kid.
Part 1, the Minrathis job. Technically, the plan worked. I mean, his facial expression just works, you know? Fishing for compliments. I always do. That's a good spot for me to end this tonight's stream. I've been streaming since 5, so that's 6, 7, 8, 3 hours. Got a lot done. Talked to somebody about their fan fiction on Star Wars and set them on the path. Yeah, it's 9, 10, 11 in the East Coast, so I'm going to end stream and let everybody have their nights back. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. I might stream this tomorrow. I might stream some more, we'll see, but I'll see you guys on Friday for Dyad and the Force, that's for sure. But I'll announce it on the socials if I stream this tomorrow. But for Light and Life, we are all the Republic. May the Force be with you. Good night.